Hello, my name's Stuart Stephenson and this is the Twin Flame Network. Thank you for anyone who's tuning in. This is a little clip that I'm going to put on the front of the video that's about to play, just to explain a couple of things up front so that we can understand. Many of us aren't aware, or haven't been aware of what ascension is, right? You know, many of the Twin Flames, many of the people working the spiritual understanding, in healing, right through to conspiracy, on the darker side of ascension. Nobody's really been aware of the things that seem to have occurred. Nobody's understood that ascension is a much larger situation than we thought it was. And it really is. It's a huge part of the Creator plan. So, as with anybody who's trying to put things onto the net that, or put things out, that will bump the status quo of the way the universe is at the moment, always finds that you have major problems. You know, the computers shutting down, stuff getting wiped out. So with this video, because of the content of the video and what it's saying, it's taken me about 4 or 5 hours to try and figure out how to get it onto YouTube, because every way I've tried to put it on, it's been shut down. So what I'm going to try and describe now is previous to a preempt to the video, which is, if you feel an urge in you to stop listening to the video, there is a reason for that. And if you can, keep listening. The reason for that is because it is explained in the video exactly what it is, but we have higher facets, higher facets, our 6th density, demigods, demigoddesses, that are still in duality, and they don't want the lower facets, the 4th and 5th dimensional facets, and the human being you. They do not want you to know the things that have been said. The reason for that is because, let's say that Godhead is going through a transition. And of course all the demigoddesses and demigods, they are Godhead. So they are putting massive resistance up to it. The video will explain that in much more detail in a minute. But I just wanted to sort of explain that if you feel there's a part of you thinks, I don't think I should watch this, try to walk through that if you can. If you can. Because you'll see that in the video, the issues that we have to start looking at and understanding what's happened. You'll notice that at the very end of the video, the last 30 seconds has been replaced by another piece of video with the same information. It's just I've had to do it another day and attach it to the end of it so that the information gets through. So you'll have to forgive me for that. I'm not the best editor. But as long as the information comes out, that's what matters. So I hope you enjoy. Quite a long time. I'd like to say thank you to anybody who's listening in, and anybody that's having a look at the channel. I'm going to talk today about something called puppeting. It's something that's becoming, it's becoming a bit of a problem now, more than it has been in the past, really. So I'll just describe it quickly in some of the other videos that you find on the channel. There's one about multidimensional awareness, and that talks about how your facets of your soul, that are part of your subconscious, one by one moving into the physical body, so that as they merge one by one, you could say that the soul a long time ago expanded and created 12 other versions of you outside of yourself that we call the subconscious, and now one by one they're all coming back into the same space as you. This is what we call ascension. So in general, it's not been too bad a problem up until now. What puppeting actually is that any facets that are outside of you and that you're not aware of, that are part of your subconscious soul, that are ready, your superconscious soul, sorry, that will be ready to move in, but not just yet. Let's just say that there's some resistance from that part of your soul quite often, where they don't really want to go through ascension. They don't want to diminish or merge back into the soul, or a personality that wants to sort of stay as it is, really. So what they do is they try their very best to stop you from being able to do that. So we've got 4 fourth dimensionals surrounding you. 4 fifth dimensionals surrounding you, and 4 sixth dimensionals surrounding you. And then, it sounds complicated, but in your fourth, you also have a 4th density, a big one, a 5th density, big one, and a 6th density, big one. So you could say like 1, 2, 3, 4, and one in the centre, kind of like that are around you. So if you're in, and all of this is for the twin flames. It's for everybody really, but it will apply to the twin flames quite a lot right now, because a lot of the twin flame couples have either moved into 4 or into 5. If you're doing energy work, you're doing teaching work, sharing on the net, anything like that that's 5th dimensional, talking about energy, then you've already moved into your 5D facets, and they've moved in. Now we've experienced this, right? We know that we've had problems as each one comes in. We've had whatever energy that part of you is carrying has become a problem within your life for a period of time. If the light facets, they've got issues that they bring with them, and if the dark facets, they've got issues that they bring with them. Ultimately, both of these energies have got to move into the new energy, which is, in a very simple way, it's kind of growing up. These energies are not childlike exactly, but a little juvenile sometimes, so the behaviour patterns need to just grow up a little bit. So once you've done that and you move into the 5th dimensional facets and your 5th density facet, which is the big one, and you'll know that when that comes in, that's the one with the power. Then you've just got outside of yourself the 4 6Ds and the 6D density facet, which is much bigger. These are powerful parts of your soul. These are the powerhouses of the soul. Now, these are the areas at the moment, especially for the twin flames, that are resisting. They very much don't want to come into the body. They don't want to be on the earth, and they don't want to go through the process. All of these 6 density facets and the 6 dimensionals surrounding them, that's a part of your soul, all exist in the place that we call Godhead, in the 6th density sphere. So that's where the resistance is coming from. Now what they will do is they will trip you up, they will tell you things that are not true, they will get you into problems that stop you doing your work, they will cause as many problems as they can in the relationship. Now if you've got 2 6 dimensionals coming in, or puppeting should I say, from the outside, within a twin flame relationship, you're going to see issues where you can't make sense of it. It's like, well, why is he doing that? Why is she doing that? You're trying to figure out why the other one is behaving like that. It's not a natural state. Now you will have seen a flash of that part of the personality in the past, but as the 5th dimensionals come in and start to stabilise, you'll see the 6 dimensionals really putting on a show, trying to stop it. They don't want to come in, and they certainly don't want to lose control of the avatar or the person, the human being. And so you'll see them becoming more prominent, and they will start to create some serious problems. They're very complex, they're very intelligent, they're very special beings, but they weren't aware in the 5th or the 6th dimension that ascension was going to do what it's done. We all figured ascension was one movement, all done, which we all know now that's not the case. So as it's gone through, you've moved all your 4th dimensionals in, and your 4th density, that's in. Then your 5th dimensionals and your 5th density in. As you're beginning to do any of these stages, you will get your 6 dimensionals in the back, trying very hard to slow things down, to trip things up, to split you and your twin flame partner up. And this is what causes the runner-chaser situation. A 6D comes in and really starts to go to work on the other partner, and they can't cope. Now we never know where this is coming from, and we don't know who seems to be doing it, or where it's coming from. We get the idea that it's coming from the spirit realm, from somebody, which of course it is, but from your soul. This is not other beings coming in trying to trip you up. This is your own soul resisting going through the later stages of ascension. So again, it wasn't an intention to make this into a very long video, but hopefully we've got the understanding of puppeting across. So some of the issues that we'll see is, you'll find them very complex. They're not going to be simple things that are occurring. It'll be something that's happening once every couple of weeks. You know, in the past maybe it was once every few months. A reoccurring addiction, a reoccurring habit, a reoccurring behaviour pattern. Something that, because it's a six-dimensional, it's not going to let you see it. It's not going to let you know that it's there. So it will pop in, pop out. It will deny that it's there. It will deny itself to your partner. Your partner will be saying, you're doing this. And that will deny it. It will say, no, I'm not. I'm not doing that. It will talk its way around it. It will say anything, firstly not to be seen, but if it is being seen, then it will get very complex in its deceits. If it's a feminine or a dark facet, then you'll begin to see the negative traits will start to come through quite often, of deceitfulness, perhaps cruelty, and manipulation, which are the three negatives for the feminine. The masculine, you will see lying, bullying, and violence. And that can be verbal, that can be physical. We're seeing a lot of these traits playing out on the planet now as the resistance from the fourth, fifth, and sixth dimensional and density facets. So what we're talking about, like I say, is the 12 parts of your soul. That you can call them spirit realm, you can call them the things that are out there in the universe, because we're talking about the same thing. The spirit realm is what you call aliens. Fourth dimensional aliens is the fourth dimensional spirit realm. Fifth dimensional aliens, you know, they're the fifth dimensional spirit realm, and the demigods that exist very, very much so in the universe, that run the show, they're the sixth dimensional spirit realm. Of course, there is I'll talk a little bit on the next video perhaps about the 66.6 containment field. On the other side of that, you have very different beings. You have a different setup. But on the inside of the 66 containment field is where you'll find your gods, demigods, gods, small g, and goddesses, gods, large g, and goddesses, and demigods and demigoddesses. 4, 5, and 6. So these are spheres. 4th, 5th, 6th. And as we know, the Earth is moving from 3 into 4 into 5, and then it's going to stay there for quite some time. But there are people on the planet that it's necessary to bring in your sixth density and sixth dimensional facets to be able to stabilise in 5. And this is a lot of the problems that people are having. They're not realising that their sixth dimensionals are puppeting them and stopping them from stabilising in 5. You can have already have ascended to 5 in dark or light, because you can ascend in either way. It's about purity. It's not really about dark and light anymore in that sense. Purity of intention, because there is dark energy you can use to get things done, and there is light energy you can use to get things done. If it's in a state of purity, then it's in the creator intention. So this is where we start to see all these problems. So in a simple way, I hope I've got some understanding of what puppeting is. So start to watch for traits, and if you work as a team, if you point out the other 160, now it's not going to come forward and admit it, you know, that it's there initially. But if you point it out and you don't threaten it, you don't bully, you don't manipulate, you know, there's no violence with words or actions, there's no cruelty with words or actions. If we can hold them in check, then you will see the soul coming through. The soul, of course, all of these attachments were created from the soul. The soul itself, which is beautiful in everybody and everything, will come forward and begin to try to understand it, as long as we do use love to recognise that these facets, these parts of ourselves, have struggled, have experienced things that are not pleasant, in light and in dark. And look, whatever we call evil, it's a silly word, but we've got to use something. So let's say whatever you would say is evil exists in both light and dark. Both can hurt, both can kill, both can, not in our this case, but you know, they can kill. Wars have happened, and there's good and bad, up and down, left and right, black and white. So everybody's doing that, and everyone's got to leave that. The soul, of course, does none of that, which is where we're all going. Once each facet is integrated, all your 4s and your density 4, all your 5s and your density 5, then your 6s and your density 6, your soul is purified. So we just have to be aware there's a lot of facets external to us, outside of us, that we call our subconscious, that move in and take control of the conscious, which is called consumed. Once that happens, the soul's not in control anymore, and you'll see a very strong personality beginning to play through the person. It's temporary. It's not something that can sustain itself. It's really important to note that we're not trying to do any harm to the facets. We're not trying to destroy the facets. We're not trying to do that. We're trying to bring them through into what we're calling the new energy, into the new paradigm, into the new. So that's just a more mature state, and it's a non-dualistic state. So all these facets are trying to do, these parts of our souls that are coming in, all they're actually trying to do is stay in duality, and that's why they try to charge themselves up. And in the next video, I'll explain how they charge themselves up and how they keep that dualistic energy flow going, so that they can stay as they are. It's an illness, so it's not something that's wrong or bad. It's just an ill state called duality. It's a form of insanity that exists in all dualistic facets. They only know half of what is, and so they can't possibly know anything. They believe they know, but of course they don't know. So this is the sequence of videos I'm going to do are going to try and help these facets to move through a dualistic state. Whether they're in 4, because there's a wave of people in 4 coming on the planet now. The 4s are coming on. There's a wave of 5 already occurred, and these guys are starting to heal. But remember, there is 4. You may well have took a one of your 4s or one of your 5s on, or even one of your 6s, but there are 4 of each. And there is ultimately, when they're all in one place, you would call that your density facet. It's 4 dimensionals that when they come into one space, it's a large facet now. And that's what you would have to deal with at some point. So thank you for stopping in. I hope the information was useful to you. Good luck on your journeys to all the 144, to the twin flames. And please understand that twin flames are very real. There are many people that believe that twin flames are not real, but they are. All the way to the 10th density, right to 2 steps from Creator. That's where you see the facets, the twin flames actually, where they are. So there's lots of ways of seeing it in the 4th dimension, the 5th, the 6th, the 7th, the 8th, the 9th. They all look different, and every time you move up the next level, whatever you saw before goes into context, and you think, I see. But from 10, and so outside from home, pretty much, from Creator understanding, they're very real. So whatever you hear out there about saying twin flames are not this and they're not that, they're not real. You have many twin flames, you don't, you have one. You are in the 10th density together, and you are trying to figure out somehow how to move up through ascension 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 to get home. That's what it's all about. And your twin flame is the one that you do that with. So again, like I say, thanks for stopping in. I hope the information was useful. I'll send another video out tomorrow morning about charging up and a few other different subjects. I'll probably put a couple out tomorrow. Thanks so much. So keep well.